And the first super chat is from Marvin Rainwater. Thank you for a $10 super chat, Marvin. Rookie mistake. I prop chopped the balance lead. Okay, so Marvin, this is what you got to do, buddy. Get you a bag of... Oh, shit, they're spilling everything. Yeah, use the battery. I use it on all my batteries. I actually just bought... I'm trying an upgrade. I just bought some of these military grade, they call them. And I'm hoping, because the regular rubber bands wear out and dry out and break, and I'm hoping these military grade ones last longer, but I haven't been using them long enough to say for sure. But that's how I save my balance lead. So that's not really what you asked, but I just wanted to point it out. I replaced my flight controller. Now it's jumpy at launch. After a minute, it gets twitchy and unflyable. I mean, that sure sounds like a flight controller problem, but you replaced the flight controller. So now I'm not sure what to tell you. Craig Roth points out you can buy bicycle inner tubes and cut them into Ranger bands. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if they would be the right size, and I didn't feel like cutting them into little strips a 1/4 inch thick or whatever. So that just sounded like a real pain in the ass. Gets twitchy and unflyable. I mean, it's theoretically possible that the ESC is making it twitchy and unflyable. That feels more like a flight controller problem, but you never know. So I'm not sure. And you say it happens after a minute. That makes me feel like something is heating up. So that's a weird one. If you replace the flight controller and it's still jumpy, I mean, it's probably not the flight controller.
I would assume he means it's jumpy after replacing. Only.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It wasn't before that.
Oh.
Like he chopped his leads and he cooked the FC because he chopped the lead, and then he changed his FC, and now he's having this problem. That's the way I understood it. Maybe I'm incorrect.
Do you think his new flight controller just happens to be toasted? I mean, yeah. I guess that's not impossible.
Well, I don't mean toasted, but yeah, I mean, it's like something's going on. Yeah, maybe he got to be on mine. He has the wrong settings on it, or I mean, I don't know.
Why does it happen after a minute?
I don't know.
Twitchy and unflyable. Make sure nothing's touching the flight controller. Check for mechanical things. I can't think what would make it twitchy and unflyable. And that would only be happening after a minute of flight. That's a tricky one. You shouldn't have had to load the BMI gyro settings because Betaflight 4.3 automatically sets those. It's hard to know, it's hard to know why a bad gyro would only pop up after a minute of flight. Like, the only thing I can think of that changes is sometimes things heat up. Could the flight controller be heating up? I mean, in a world of infinite money, I would tell you just replace the flight controller and see if that fixes it. Garter rotor, I doubt that PID feedback would ramp up over the course of a minute. I don't think the PID loop runs on that slow of a time scale. It's an interesting thought.
He's got maybe a super overactive D-term or something, and it's heating up motors over the flight, and then the motor gets hot enough at a minute or something to fail.
Maybe. Just doesn't seem like a motor failure usually causes twitchiness. It causes you to fall out of the air. Yeah, twitchiness is usually the gyro.
Here's a question. Does it happen if you leave it on the ground for a minute?
Interesting.
Does it happen if you plug in and don't arm, and then you arm? If it's jumpy, there's a lot of stuff like that. I would try to troubleshoot out, when is this actually happening and what is actually affecting it.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a tough one, Marvin. Hopefully we've given you some good advice to help you figure it out.